Welcome to the Academy for Workforce Development's Introduction to the Child Protection Legal Process web training. The goal of this training is to provide social workers with an understanding of the court system, court interventions and processes in our work, as well as the roles and responsibilities of those involved. The objectives for the participant are as follows. 1. Delineate the various stages of a juvenile court child protection case. 2. Describe the role of casework documentation, safety plans, and provider reports in the court process. 3. Identify the participants and their rights in juvenile court. 4. Identify the types of courts, their functions, and the roles of court personnel and DCF. 5. Describe the role of attorneys representing the department, the expectations surrounding legal consults. And 6. Identify who can access DCF records. An understanding of the legal system and the ability to produce accurate, effective, and timely legal work is a critical part of the competencies that you must possess to do your job well. The legal training series consists of 4 full days of in-class training along with this web training. Legal 1 provides an in-depth look at neglect petitions and provides an opportunity to draft a summary of facts. Legal 2 is a 2-day training that provides a comprehensive understanding of orders of temporary custody with an opportunity to develop an OTC affidavit along with an individual legal case consult. This training also prepares staff for testifying in a child protection matter. Additionally, a mock trial is held with full participation from 2 of our DCF staff attorneys, an assistant attorney general, and one of our trainees utilizing that trainee's actual case. Legal 3 provides a thorough analysis of permanency planning, termination of parental rights petitions, and post-adjudication issues. Internal legal matters. Each area office is served by legal staff that includes 1 or more principal or staff attorneys and 1 or more paralegal specialists. Management and staff are encouraged to consult with the legal division regarding legal issues that arise. Principal and staff attorneys will enter the consult in link. It is important to remember that communication with the principal or staff attorney is confidential and therefore should not be shared with external parties. Within DCF, social work staff are responsible for preparing the bulk of all written legal work and are encouraged to seek guidance from legal staff as needed. Principal and staff attorneys serve the same function within the department. They consult with social work staff to determine legal sufficiency and ensure the strongest legal case possible. They review drafted court documents and related studies for legal sufficiency prior to filing, as well as provide guidance on written legal work. The attorneys provide training and keep staff informed of new statutes and regulations, and also represent the department at administrative hearings. They oversee preparation of department records for disclosure to third parties and assist staff with other legal matters related to cases when needed, such as immigration issues, Indian child welfare matters, and subpoenas. In addition, principal attorneys and staff attorneys conduct internal reviews of substantiated findings and recommendations for the central registry. It is very important to be prepared for your legal consult in order for the consult to be productive. Adequate preparation requires staff to know the legal issue to be presented, knowledge of the case participants involved, and a working understanding of the case history. Following a discussion of the issue, the principal or staff attorney will provide a legal opinion on the issue presented and/or recommendations for follow-up steps to complete if there is insufficient information to provide a legal opinion. Whether a legal opinion is rendered or next steps are identified, these are only recommendations. Case directives are given by the social work chain of command. Legal consults are documented by the principal or staff attorney in legal narratives in Link. These are confidential communications that should not be shared with any non-DCF employee with the exception of an assistant attorney general. Paralegal specialists assist the attorneys with casework as necessary and prepare department records for disclosure to third parties. It should be noted that all requests for department records are sent to a central office paralegal for assignment. Paralegal specialists may also represent the department at administrative hearings, as well as conduct internal reviews of substantiated findings and recommendations for the central registry. The Administrative Hearings Unit conducts administrative hearings and is an objective, nonpartisan element of the legal division at central office. It is responsible for the hearing of a client's disagreement with the department's plan for treatment or willingness to fund specific programs or placements, as well as affording that client due process. Due process requires notice to the client of a proposed action and a right to be heard within a timely manner. There are several types of administrative hearings. The Administrative Hearings Unit is responsible for scheduling and conducting those hearings. Fair hearing matters involve monetary issues and the non-committed treatment programs available to certain children and youth. Treatment plan hearings concern case plan issues defined by the parent, child, or guardian. License hearings involve matters initiated by the licensing unit. Rate-setting hearings involve conflicts as a result of rate determinations of the Division of Private Provider Financial Services. Out-of-state placement hearings concern disagreement with such proposed placements for therapeutic reasons or lack of appropriate in-state resources. The removal hearing concerns removal of children from a foster home under specific circumstances and criteria as defined in department policy. Parole revocation hearings concern youth who have been adjudicated delinquent, who may also be committed as neglected, abused, or uncared for, and their compliance with parole requirements. Educational Stability Act hearings concern changes in educational placement. Substantiation hearings address substantiated findings and central registry placement. In addition, adoption subsidy financial matters and issues of dispute by adoptive parents fall within the responsibility of the Administrative Hearings Unit. The hearing officers are employees of the Department of Children and Families that preside at the hearing in an impartial manner. The hearing officer ensures that the hearing develops in a purposeful and logical manner. They listen to all of the testimony and evaluate the evidence. The hearing officer shall ensure that each party has a full opportunity to present all relevant information by testifying, presenting witnesses and documents in their own behalf, as well as cross-examining adverse witnesses. The hearing officer shall rule on admissibility of evidence, as well as objections, privileges, motions, and exclude irrelevant and repetitious testimony or evidence. After the hearing is completed, he or she provides a written decision. The hearing officers are employees of the Department of Children and Families that preside at the hearing in an impartial manner. The hearing officer ensures that the hearing develops in a purposeful and logical manner. They listen to all of the testimony and evaluate the evidence. The hearing officer shall ensure that each party has a full opportunity to present all relevant information by testifying, presenting witnesses and documents in their own behalf, as well as cross-examining adverse witnesses. The hearing officer shall rule on admissibility of evidence, as well as objections, privileges, motions, and exclude irrelevant and repetitious testimony or evidence. After the hearing is completed, he or she provides a written decision. External legal matters. The court system. As a DCF social worker, you may find yourself in many different courts. Included are the court systems that social workers frequently work within. Probate courts have the power to hear and make judgments in certain types of cases, such as the estates of deceased persons, testamentary trusts, adoptions, conservators, commitment of the mentally ill, guardians of the persons and estates of minors and those with intellectual disabilities, and certain name changes. Each probate court has one judge who is elected to a 4-year term by the electors of the probate district. Probate judges elected after January 5, 2011, must be attorneys admitted to practice law in Connecticut. Probate judges who are not attorneys are allowed to continue to serve if they were in office on January 4, 2011. Probate judges are paid for their services from court fees. The family court is responsible for deciding family relations matters in a fair and timely manner. Examples of family relations matters include divorce, called dissolution of marriage, dissolution of civil unions, legal separation, visitation of children, paternity, name changes, child custody, relief from abuse, also known as temporary restraining orders, and family support payments. A criminal case is one in which a person, the defendant, is accused of breaking the law. The two sides in a criminal case are the state, represented by a state's attorney, because crimes are considered acts that violate the rights of the entire state, and the defendant. The following types of cases are heard in the criminal division: felonies, punishable by prison sentences of more than 1 year; misdemeanors, which are punishable by prison sentences of not more than 1 year; violations, including motor vehicle, which are punishable by fine only; infractions. A fine may be paid by mail without requiring a court appearance, for example, a traffic ticket. Generally, the most serious criminal matters, such as murder, are tried in the judicial district courts, which are also called J.D. courts. Geographical area courts, which are also called GA courts, typically handle all criminal arraignments, misdemeanors, and certain felonies. In addition, GA courts handle motor vehicle matters, infractions, and violations that require a court appearance. Juvenile matters is a special subdivision of Superior Court and has courts statewide. It is designed to protect the rights of children in family relationships, and all records are confidential. Cases in juvenile court include termination of parental rights, delinquency, neglected or uncared for children and youth, family with service needs, and emancipation of a minor. There are also special sessions of the juvenile court known as Child Protection Session. One is held in Middletown and another is held in Willimantic. The Child Protection Session accepts child protection cases referred by local juvenile matters judges. The referral criteria include age of the case, significance of the action, termination of parental rights is the most important, and complexity of the case. The Connecticut court system is composed of trial courts and appellate courts. The trial courts are the probate court and the Superior Court. These courts hear testimony and receive evidence, after which a decision is rendered by the trier of fact, either a judge or jury as applicable. Appellate courts generally hear and decide cases in which a party at the trial court level disagrees with a final decision rendered and believes that the judge made an error, either in application or interpretation of the law. For trials held in the Superior Court, the first level of appeal is to the appellate court. That court must hear all appeals brought to it. The appellate court hears and decides cases based upon the record presented from the Superior Court, oral argument, and legal briefs. Further appeal can be made to the Supreme Court after a decision by the appellate court, but the Supreme Court only hears appeals that it selects. Not every case brought to it will be granted a hearing. If a case is turned down, then the decision of the appellate court remains in effect. Under certain circumstances, an appeal can be brought directly from the Superior Court to the Supreme Court. Those direct appeals can occur when there is an issue of substantial public interest and a delay in the appeal process may cause a substantial injustice. Also, under certain circumstances, the Supreme Court may take evidence. The Superior Court can also act as an appellate court and does so under the following circumstances: appeals of decisions rendered by probate court and appeals of decisions from administrative hearings. The Department of Children and Families has a clear and distinct role in child protection matters. The department is responsible for the protection of children when parents or guardians are unwilling and/or unable to provide for their children's health, safety, and well-being. The department shall be responsible for initiating proceedings before the Superior Court for juvenile matters when a child's health, safety, and well-being are not met. The department shall provide the court with sufficient evidence to support the pleadings, allegations contained in the petition, and with the necessary social study to support a disposition that will be in the best interest of the child. The department is responsible for providing periodic reports to the court on pending cases. The department is also responsible for addressing orders of the court. The court's role is to determine the merits of the case and enter orders directed at the parties. The court hears the following cases concerning children: petitions of neglect, abuse, or uncared for, petition of termination of parental rights, adoption, delinquency petitions, family with service needs, FWSN petitions, guardianship or termination of parental rights transferred or appealed from probate court, emancipation petitions, and reinstatement of guardian. There are many instances where multiple systems share the same clients. For example, DCF, juvenile court, and criminal court do not share the same function or focus. Each of the three entities operate under their own mandates, each have their own evidentiary criteria, and outcomes in one arena do not necessarily require or result in action or an outcome in another. For example, in a case where a parent carries out an intentional act on a child causing injury, the department's action would be an investigation. The affirmative finding of that investigative action would be a possible substantiation and possible addition to the central registry. The department may also choose to file a petition alleging abuse and/or neglect. A possible affirmative finding in juvenile court of a neglect petition is an adjudication of neglect and/or abuse and a disposition. If, in this case, a report was made to the police, the initial action would be a police investigation leading to an arrest. The criminal charges would be heard in criminal court with an affirmative finding being a guilty verdict and a sentence. Additionally, Each of these entities may all become involved in the same situation, but view that situation from different perspectives, employ different actions, potentially resulting in unique outcomes independent of each other's decisions. An overview of Superior Court for Juvenile Matters. The Superior Court for Juvenile Matters consists of two sides, the child protection side and the delinquency side. The child protection side handles neglect, abuse, or uncared for petitions with or without orders of temporary custody, termination of parental rights petitions, and adoptions. The delinquency side handles family with service needs petitions, delinquency petitions, and emancipation petitions. There are many professionals involved in child protection matters. In this section, we will discuss the role of each professional. Judges oversee proceedings, rule on all motions filed with the court, and make the final decisions. Some specific duties in juvenile matters are to grant or deny OTCs, adjudicate cases of abuse, neglect, uncared for, or termination of parental rights, as well as determine the disposition of cases and decide who can intervene in or be present in court hearings. Court service officers are commonly referred to as CSOs. They manage the flow of the court case, oversee case status and case management conferences, facilitate parties reaching agreement, schedule court-ordered psychological evaluations, maintain direct communication with the evaluators, and disseminate court material to appropriate parties. Court clerks process accepted documents and create the court file. They make records of all proceedings required to be recorded, maintain court files, and assign hearing dates. They also make and keep dockets and distribute court materials to all parties. Court marshals maintain order within the building and within the courtroom. Assistant Attorneys General are attorneys who represent DCF in court, speak with potential witnesses in preparation for court cases, and advise the Department of Children and Families about court activity. The AAG assignment can change based on coverage. Panel attorneys are court-appointed attorneys who represent mothers, fathers, and children on different cases within the juvenile court, which means you will likely work with the same attorneys on multiple cases representing different parties. All parties to the case have the right to attorney representation. Parents who cannot afford an attorney can ask the court to appoint one. The court appoints an attorney for every child. Attorneys are entitled to information regarding their client. They represent the client's wishes, even if the client is a child. Additionally, a child's attorney must visit with the child before the first hearing at their placement. A guardian ad litem is appointed by a judge when a child's wishes conflict with what is in their best interest. When a GAL is appointed, this individual's role is to represent the best interests of a child. In cases where a separate GAL is appointed, the attorney of record is maintained. Sometimes a GAL will be an attorney as well. There are a few more professionals that are involved in delinquency matters. Probation officers assess and file delinquency and family with service needs, FWSN or FOISN complaints, provide predispositional reports to the courts, monitor court-ordered conditions and services for children and their families to increase the chances of successful rehabilitation, and can seek sanction for juveniles they monitor or supervise if they do not follow the conditions of their probation or supervision. Assistant State's Attorneys prosecute delinquency and FWSN petitions, speak with potential witnesses in preparation for court cases, discuss resolution to cases with the child's attorney or other representative, screen cases for transfer to adult court, and work collaboratively with police departments and probation officers. Public defenders are attorneys appointed by the court to represent indigent children, speak with potential witnesses in preparation for court cases, and discuss resolution to cases with the Assistant State's Attorney. They can file petitions of neglect, abuse, or uncared for, and advise the child and the child's guardian about court activity. It should be noted that there are times that DCF is the guardian and will be advised of court activity. Etiquette is essential for making a good impression. This is especially true in the courtroom, where there are many stated and unstated rules of conduct for litigants, attorneys, jurors, and other attendees. Every court operates slightly different. Please take notice of the specific culture of your area court. One example is standing when addressing the court. The following are general rules of court etiquette. Be prepared by knowing the case, the department's position, taking notes, and knowing who to contact in your office for key decisions. Arrive on time. That means you are at court at least 15 minutes before the matter is scheduled. Wear clothing that is appropriate for professional business. Turn off electronic devices and cell phones before entering the courtroom. Be polite to the judge, opposing counsel, court staff, and families, even during contentious matters. Rise when the judge enters and leaves the courtroom. When questioned directly by the judge, refer to the judge as Your Honor. When necessary, seek assistance from the AAG in a discreet manner. There are a number of different matters that occur in the juvenile court. Documentation about a court matter is an important part of our court work. The basic information that court documentation must include is type of court matter, who was present, what occurred, any orders, next steps, and the next court date. When there are questions regarding a court matter, social workers are asked to contact the AAG.